How would you like to start this one?
Hey girlfriend. That was
No?
terrible.
So you don't want me to include that?
No, you can include that. That's fine.
All
It was
right.
just terrible.
Hey, sister.
I'm embracing the dorkiness these days, so
All right. Well, you are pretty dorky. So.
I really am.
Hi, Chloe.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fantastic. And hello to everybody watching. You've stumbled on the Up Late video with Glenn and Chloe. We are a bit of a spin-off from the Good Movie Monday podcast. And Chloe herself has her own podcast, Movie Night with the Richie Girls. If you've never heard of it, go back and listen to all the episodes that they've recorded. And they'll be back next year with a whole new series.
Oh yeah.
Formalities are out of the way. Go for it.
I like your background.
Do you know what
to me.
That,
Talk to me.
That is the video store I owned.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so that's my new release wall. Whatever year that was, I can see the Dark Knight and the
I was
Dictator,
just about to say, yeah, Dark Knight. Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Loads of photos from that place. I might put a few up over the weeks.
You should.
Yeah.
I'm getting a bit nostalgic for video stores. I'm kind of, I don't know, that was like the ultimate experience on the weekend, wasn't it? You know?
It was.
I don't get to do that with my kids, and it's really sad. It was like the best thing about the weekend. So
it's totally sad. It's tragic. Like, you know, Ben being my co-host on the podcast, we both come from video stores and both ran video stores, and so it's just it's a recurring point of conversation for us, and we're just always, you know, reminiscing. And like you just sort of alluded to, that community aspect is just not there anymore. You know, it wasn't just about Friday night going to the video store. It was about getting your dinner, your fish and chips or your pizza, and while you wait for that to cook, you go into the video store, and you don't just look for movies. If you're stuck, someone's there to talk to. Someone's going to help you, and someone's going to educate you in a way, like teach you about things that you didn't know. And that doesn't exist anymore. You've got algorithms, and you know.
The greatest thing was, you know, going through those aisles, thinking you're going to get a new release, and for some reason or another, it's you either don't feel like it that day or it's all out, and then you go backwards and you go find these other movies that, you know, you generally do judge a book by its cover. So you're like, oh, that cover looks awesome, I'm just going to watch that. And it's just some random movie you've never heard of. Like, it was just a thrill of like taking that home and discovering it. Yes. You know, going through the baskets of the old posters and movie posters. It was a full experience, and I miss it.
Like, we used to, you know, all video stores used to offer bundles, so people would take home 5 movies, but they'd only take 1 or 2 home that they really want to watch, and the rest of the stuff that we've put on top. They've said, what else is good? Well, if you like this, try this, this, and this, and they've never heard of them, and then they come back and they rave about them, or they tell you it was shit. You know, but there's that conversations. You know, it was a beautiful thing. I miss it dearly. Like, you know, if it was feasible to still run that place, I still would.
Yeah, I'd probably come work for you because I miss those places.
Yeah. If only I had known half the people I know now when I had the store, I probably could have kept it going with just the passion and like the love for the environment, you know. But oh well, you know.
Oh well.
All
beautiful
good things
memories.
Come to an end.
That's it. Beautiful memories.
Indeed. And hey, it's that culture of video stores that keeps podcasts like ours going, you know, because we're the dregs, we're the leftovers.
We're the old folks that remember those days and can reminisce about it.
I mean,
you know?
your kids never been able to pick up a video cover and just sort of, you know, take that big bulky fucking thing out and shove it in the slot.
I'm pretty sure I have access to a VHS player.
A VCR, yep.
What did I say?
Oh, VHS is what you put in a VCR.
Yeah, a VHR. You know what I mean. Fucking hell. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have access to one, so I'm gonna try and locate it and set it up, because I'm pretty sure Mum still has a big clear plastic tub of all of my sort of VCRs that I used to own, including a Little Mermaid, like an original Little Mermaid that came out of a video store that we bought as like a clearance sale thing. And
X rentals,
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I'll keep you updated on that, because that'd be super fun.
What a nice way to start a video.
I
Good
think
times.
so.
Have you got anything this week to talk about? I do have a few things written down, but I'm happy to let you go first if there's anything on your list.
Well, I saw a little snippet today of that I didn't know that was happening, that they're doing a Snow White
Mm, with
um live action
is it
remake.
Gal Gadot or whatever her
Gal
name is?
Gadot, yes,
Gal
which I
Gadot.
think she's gonna do really good
I think
as
she's suited for the role.
like her beautiful accent. It's going to be very mysterious, and just
Yeah,
her whole look I think is really great for the evil queen. I think she's going to nail that role.
I certainly think so too. Look, I'm not a. This is a recurring thing every week as well. I'm not a huge fan of hers, but
Oh,
like it doesn't. That's not to say I don't like her. Like she's okay, and I do think she's suited to this one. So I will not be too critical, and I'll take it for what it is.
sidebar, did you see her on SNL?
No, I haven't been keeping up with that for a while.
Oh, she's very good. She was very good on her episode. I enjoyed it quite a lot. I hadn't really thought much about her before that.
Hmm.
But yeah, I watched her on that and I really, really liked her. So I'm pretty happy with that casting actually. I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. We're doing an episode of the podcast next week on live action Disney films.
Hmm.
So no doubt that and
What
a
an
few
awesome
others will.
theme.
Yeah, it's a great theme. And interestingly, we haven't recorded it yet, but I know for a fact Ben and I are going to trip backwards to like the 1950s, 1960s, and talk about those live action films that we love so much. But then we've got Sam on the show, who's much younger, and I have a funny feeling she might be talking about some of those newer ones. So
Yeah, so when you told me about this, I got super excited because a couple of my favorite ones are from the 40s, 50s,
yeah,
but I can't get a hold of them. So I won't be talking about them. I'm talking about something different. So
what's one or two of those?
I'll tell you one that still springs to my mind and brings beautiful memories back, but is very problematic. And that's
Song of the South.
yeah, a
Yeah,
movie that
yeah,
I own on VHS. So
yes.
I remember, I can't tell you how many times I watched that movie. It
Mm,
was I could sit through it at a very young age, which was, obviously strange for a child, but I was an only child and I could sit through that entire movie over and over again and I just loved
yeah,
it.
it is a
And
beautiful film.
yeah, it is obviously a slightly problematic these days in some ways, but
Well,
still a beautiful movie.
incredibly problematic, and Disney themselves pulled that one from circulation many years ago. It's but they've also sort of I think re-released it because I've got a DVD of it. They released it at one point, um, not so much as like a Disney branded title. It was more of a like an educational piece. They put it out as like a public awareness piece and gave it context and all that kind of stuff. Because as a piece of art, as an animation or live action cross with animation, it's beautiful and the music is beautiful.
It's an astounding piece of
Yeah,
film, in my opinion.
but
And I was reading up on it. They actually have to re-release it in the next couple of years, or else they lose the rights to it and it becomes public content anyway. So
yeah, public domain one. But
public domain,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It'll be interesting to see if it does. I think it might get like Disney might cross over into that Criterion kind of realm and sign up with another label to sort of put it out in a much more sort
Yeah,
of
okay.
brand it for adults as opposed to for kids and
Yep.
give it that context. But no, good one. That would have been a great one to talk about. But yeah, if
It
you
was
haven't
my
watched it in a
first
long
choice.
time,
Yeah, it was my first choice, but obviously I can't access it anywhere. So I'd have to rewatch it to be able to be
yeah,
able to talk about it with a little bit more passion. But the other one
cool.
was Bed Knobs or Broomsticks, obviously.
Of course, that'll definitely get a
Obviously.
mention.
I'm sure it
That'll
will. Yeah.
definitely get a mention. Yeah, for sure. Big fan of that. I think we all are.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, speaking of
Yeah.
you like I had a segue, but we brought the Disney thing up, and the segue was just shattered. But
Sorry.
yeah, yeah, just
Chloe ruins everything.
no, we were talking about Gal Gadot, and you said Saturday Night Live. So,
Yep.
speaking of SNL,
Mm.
this is a horrible story.
Oh
I
no.
read I read that Dan Aykroyd is trying to get a sequel to The Great Outdoors made. Now, I love a good sequel, right?
Uh-huh.
But Dan Aykroyd, I've never known a celebrity to be more full of shit. Like this guy is nothing but hot air, and he talks up all these, passion projects and things he wants to do, and blah 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 blah. Very rarely does he see any of them to fruition. I think Blues Brothers 2000 is the only one he's ever delivered on. He's been talking up Ghostbusters for years, and it never happened. And when it did happen, it wasn't because of him and all that kind of stuff. And now Great Outdoors, like, it doesn't need to be done. There's no story to be told here.
I think he's just maybe trying to become a little bit relevant.
Yeah, totally.
Again.
That's all he ever does.
I mean, that's what actors do. They're like you said, full of hot air. I've been around many of them. I wanted to be one of them. So, I mean, I know what they're like, and they'll do anything to stay relevant.
Yeah, well, the interesting thing, like, they all go through cycles where there's obviously some kind of, once the attention lands on them, then they peddle different shit at the same time. So he's not only has he talked about doing the Great Outdoors 2, which he wants to call the Great Outlaws, which is fucking awful. How do you replace John Candy? He goes, as soon as I can find a replacement for John Candy, then we're going ahead with it. I'm like, did you even listen to what you just said, you dickhead?
It's doomed from the beginning if he's gonna be speaking that way.
And the original was written by John Hughes. He's not around to make this happen. Anyway, but at the same time, he also came out doing one of those sort of socially conscious, like, I think, what was he says? I think comedy needs to be more politically correct now and all this kind of stuff. It's like he's trying to jump on a bandwagon that he just has no right to be on.
Yeah.
Your muffins are ready.
It's my watch.
Okay.
Sorry. Oh, God.
That's all right.
Once again, Chloe ruins the moment.
That was the perfect way to sort of move me on from that, because it made me angry, that story.
I mean, I can see why, but I mean, I think the reason I love comedy so much is because it does push all those boundaries, and it doesn't need to be PC. Like, if you can't take a joke or you can't get the joke, then you don't deserve to be listening to that joke, because it's so fucking annoying to see all these people blow off their heads when they watch Colin Jost and Michael Che, who do the weekend segment, like the news segment, and their jokes are not PC. They're not PC whatsoever. People blow up about them. It's like, it's a fucking joke. Oh.
I know, but
Go
and the
rant
other
about
thing too,
something else. Leave it alone.
The history of comedy has always been that comedy is to sort of hold a mirror up to society, and
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, but
there are lines. Obviously, there are lines, but it's made to be pushed.
But the thing is, though, there are lines and there aren't lines, because you can cross a line all you want. You can step over it. You can take a steaming hot shit across that line. It's up to the person, the receiver, to decide whether
receiver of the shit. Yes.
Yes, that's right. The dumpee. It's it's up to them if they want to go along with it or not. They can just tune off. They can turn away. Like, if something's offensive, move on.
Go somewhere else.
I don't
It's
care.
not for you.
There is shit out there that is so offensive that I would be, outraged if I heard, but I wouldn't rage at them.
No.
I just close the fucking laptop and move.
That's not for me. I'll go find something else.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just that easy.
It is that easy, but anyway, let's stop talking about Dan Aykroyd. He doesn't deserve this time.
Sorry, Dan.
Don't be
You're in the
sorry.
Tim Burton file.
He can go and drink his Skull vodka or whatever the fuck it is he's trying to peddle.
What else did you have? Did you have anything else?
Yeah. Speaking of comedy and edginess, do you know the Broken Lizard guys?
Yes.
Yeah, they've got a new one coming out called Quasi.
Oh.
And it's their take on the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh.
Yes.
I would much rather see that than Super Troopers 2 again.
Oh, come on, Chloe. Super Troopers 2 was pretty decent.
Glenn, no.
Did you like Super Troopers 1?
Yes.
So why didn't you like number 2?
Because it's stupid. It wasn't, no.
But number 1 was stupid.
I know, but it's an original and it's beautiful. And then they've just tried to do the exact same thing with number 2 and it doesn't work.
I thought it worked. That opening stuff on the bus was beautiful.
I mean, it's funny, but it's not anything to write. But funny doesn't make it good. Funny makes it funny.
If it's a comedy and it's funny,
That's not all it takes, okay? The story has to be worthwhile.
The story has, but the first one had no story. Like that's the thing. It's
Of
just
course it did. They've got to save the department from being shut down. They've got to make the drug bust of the year, and they did.
And anyway, I love the Broken Lizard guys. The only film of theirs I didn't like was their first one, Puddle Cruiser, and that was just on account of them being college graduates that really didn't know what they were doing. But
Fair
after that,
enough.
like one of the most underrated comedies of all time is probably Club Dread. That's a fantastic movie.
Mm-hmm. You know, I was speaking to someone the other day, and I told them I was, you know, into movies and it's one of my favorite things to talk about and all that kind of stuff. And then she starts talking about all these movies that she loves, and it's literally not one title that I recognize. I'm like, oh, you should talk to my friend Glenn, honestly, because he just knows all these movies off the top of his head, and I have no idea what they are. Like, just so obscure. And I'm like, oh, you'd have such a great conversation with Glenn.
Well, you should have done a sales pitch for the podcast. And...
I did.
Oh. Facebook me, DM me.
I told her.
Did you make a mental note of any one particular title?
It was really late at night. I was at work. So none of them kind of sunk in. They were really great medieval type stuff, which you don't particularly love. But
yeah, stuff like Lady Hawk probably, and
Lady Hawk was the number one thing that they were talking about, and I told them that I hadn't seen it, and they were very disappointed in me. So that's just like a running theme throughout my life, is that people are very disappointed in my choices, and so I seem like I have to make better ones, and Lady Hawk was at the top of the list.
It's a good movie.
I was reprimanded, so I don't want to mess with those guys. So.
What else have we got here? Leonardo DiCaprio is in negotiations to play Reverend Jim Jones, which I think is fantastic news.
I just saw that, and that was on my list too, which would be very interesting. That's all cult stuff, yeah?
Hell yeah. Jim Jones is the Kool-Aid guy.
Yes, I thought it was. I fucking love cult stuff.
Yeah, and
conspiracy theories, cult. Oh, give it to me.
Yeah, the story of Jim Jones and the Jonestown massacre is
Jonestown. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, in true crime talk, it's glorious stuff. Like, it is really juicy, and there's a great sort of what do you call it? Like I've lost my train of thought. When you have those documentaries that are also reenactments, I can't remember what they're called. Like a docudrama.
Yeah.
There is a great one on, I think it's Netflix, all about Jonestown Massacre, where
I reckon I've seen it.
They talk to the real people, but then the reenactments are like really theatrical. It's almost like a film, and that is so good.
I reckon I've seen that one because I'm really into watching those documentary type things.
Yeah.
And the Waco one, I think I've seen one with the Waco one as well. So love that. I love all that shit. I'm so excited. And Leonardo, even better. Holy crap.
Yeah. That's good casting. Who would direct it? Another question. Funnily enough, it would make a great companion piece to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood if Tarantino were to pick it up.
Sure.
But he won't. It won't be him. But you need someone that knows what they're doing
and will make it beautiful.
Yeah, well, and Leonardo DiCaprio is in a position where he doesn't do things without credibility, so
100%. So I'm definitely excited about that. Like, yeah,
absolutely. Excellent. All right, have you got something else there?
Well, I was going to ask you, but I think I've asked you this before, about who you think the most overrated actor is out there at the moment, because I had a conversation with the same people who were disappointed in me about Lady Hawk, about who they thought was the most overrated actor at the moment, and they didn't agree with me. I want to get your take. Who do you think at the moment, at this very moment?
That is Rami Malek.
Really?
I don't think he's a great actor at all. He doesn't have any.
That surprises me.
He doesn't emote. He doesn't emote at all. He's got no charisma or anything. He can only play one character, and he just recycles that one character over and over. And in fact, and I mentioned this on a midweek video we did on the Good Movie Monday Facebook and YouTube, his role as the villain in the new James Bond is really good, simply because they play heavily into his own lack of personality.
Fair enough.
You know,
he plays to his strengths. And
I thought he was pretty damn awful in Bohemian Rhapsody. That was a role that could have gone to someone far better. But yeah, I felt like he did an imitation, not sort of didn't embody the character. He just sort of imitated. Anyway, that's who I would say.
Interesting. Very interesting.
What about you?
Well, even though I'm a huge fan, I'm going to say Chris Pratt at the moment. I feel like he's being way overused and I don't love it. I think we had this conversation about Garfield the other day as well. But I told them Chris Pratt and they scoffed at me for that. But I'm like, you know what? I'm like an original way back when Parks and Rec fan of Chris Pratt when he was actually funny.
See, what's happened with him is Hollywood's got its mitts in him. They've styled him up, and he's leaning into the new character that he's created. And he's practically playing the same guy in all the films. He hasn't got a lot of range.
Exactly.
At this point. We know he's got range because of what he's done in the past. But
I know he's got range. Everything all the choices that he's making at the moment, I don't love it. So yeah, that was my answer.
Fair enough. I mean, the same could be said. Like everybody loves Christopher Walken, right? But he does play the same guy in every film.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not so much the lack of ability; it's just the lack of versatility, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. And look, it could just be that's all he's getting offered at the moment, in which, you know, he's finally getting some sort of success, so he'd be taking the offers that he's getting. But
well, I mean, the old adage is in Hollywood, you know, it's an overnight success and it can be ripped away from you at any given time. So long as they're offering you millions of dollars and it's, you know, guaranteed bankroll, you take it.
That's true. That's true. Maybe I'm being too harsh, but that was my answer anyway.
I don't think you're being too harsh at all. I think you're right about he's just not making great choices. I mean, I would argue that it was a good choice to jump into the Jurassic Park franchise. That's a smart move. But then do that trilogy or that series and then make sure the stuff you do around it's different.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
That's why I wasn't too happy when they were floating around his name to take over Indiana Jones, which I think he'd be fine at doing that, but he plays a character too close to Indiana Jones in Jurassic Park.
Right.
Or Jurassic World, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, and he's so good at what he does. I just give him the opportunity to do it, you know, he'll still make money. People love him.
Yep.
Kind of like The Rock. Just let him do his thing and he'll make money.
Yep.
Anyway.
Anyway. Speaking of like sequels and things like that, I was reading that Jumanji 4 is going ahead, and the producer of that they've not given any details of what it's about, but they have said that the direction that the franchise will take is much bolder and bigger than any of the previous incarnations, and not to expect a recycle like they did with the previous one.
You know, I'm not overly huge on the sequels, but these are probably sequels I can actually really get behind, because I watched The Jungle Book with not expecting anything. Jungle Book, fucking, what's it called?
You're Disney obsessed. You're talking Jumanji?
Jumanji. Sorry. I watched Jumanji with no expectations because obviously I'm an original lover of the movie. And I can't tell you how much I fucking loved that movie. Jack Black, The Rock, and Kevin all in one movie. Brilliant. And then the second one, wasn't expecting anything, and I still loved it.
Yeah, I didn't like the second. Well, it's the third one technically, but I didn't like that. I like the first sequel, which, you know, where they reinvented what Jumanji is, but connected it to the Robin Williams film, because that was like a definite direct sequel.
Yeah.
And then the next one came along, and they just practically recycled it. But that's what this producer's saying, is that that's not going to happen this time. It's going to be something completely different, but still flow.
I love that. That makes me excited.
Do you know
I'm really getting on board the sequel train.
Oh, good. Do you know my favorite part of Jumanji? The rock one.
Which one?
The first of the new ones.
Yeah.
Is when Baloo starts singing, "You need the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities." That's my Jungle Book joke. It was probably about 60 seconds too late, but
Yeah, that's okay though. We'll forgive you for that.
I was just giving you the respect of letting you finish what you're saying. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to tell
You
this
shouldn't.
one.
Just cut me off. Just cut me. It's usually just jabber.
And then it can be Glenn ruins Chloe's thing.
What a dynamic duo, huh?
Exactly. That's why we've got all those hits.
Oh
we
my
need
gosh.
to eat. We need to eat 700 chicken nuggets. I think we could do that too. By the way.
Like Tony and Ryan.
Yeah.
Mate, I could probably do like 50 on my own, I reckon. They did 700.
But they didn't get to 700, did they? I think they
Oh,
stopped.
they didn't?
No, they only got to like 120 and then they donated money for each one that they didn't do.
Ah, okay. That makes sense. Yeah, I reckon I could do 50. I'd feel like shit afterwards, but I could do it.
Yeah, I could easily punch 50. I'd go 100.
You reckon you could do 100?
I do. I have to have a big shit in the middle though.
At least you're honest. At least you're honest.
Yeah.
Mine would just be sitting there like this.
That's right. Are we allowed to blend them?
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
That's all right. We don't have a Patreon where we have to promise that kind of shit.
Dang.
But yeah, I reckon this conversation might go on TikTok.
Let's see if maybe we can outmatch them one day. We'll be the new Tony and Ryan.
Oh, that's what shits me. Like they recently had the Australian Podcast Awards on, and we are contenders because we enter it knowing damn well there's not a chance in hell. But all the ones that get nominated have money behind them, and I'm talking big bucks, right? So like Tony and Ryan, if they were eligible, they have Kiss FM behind them. The ones that get all the nods, it's like all the ANZ business podcasts. Okay, well clearly they've got money. The little guys don't stand a chance.
Generally their business, yeah.
The little guys don't stand a chance,
No, which is disappointing because, sometimes we create really good content over the ones that are backed by, all the money.
Or just do a little bit of mix it up so you've got those newcomer awards. Like don't just have the one newcomer award, have, best new comedy, best new entertainment, best new business, best new whatever, best
Everyone
non-budget.
loves an underdog story.
Yeah, best independent.
I agree with you. Write
anyway,
them
that's
a very
me.
stern letter.
That is me just being pissed off that they take our money to enter the whole fucking thing, and you don't stand a chance, but you gotta spend money to be in it.
That's it. Got to be in it
So
to win it.
speaking of that, if everybody goes to the Australian Podcast Awards website and goes to the public choice vote, type in Good Movie Monday and give us a vote.
Please.
Yes, and just keep in mind that they're still using our old tile image from the old podcast we used to do called the FakeShemp.net podcast.
Ah.
As Ben said, they've got some scraper that just obviously goes through the old iTunes annals and just picks out like your original image.
I see, yeah.
Anyway, but that's us. So,
do it, people.
The five of you that pay attention to what we do. Yeah. She's going to find you and sick her movie-loving friends onto you.
That's it. And then I'm going to sit there and make you press all the buttons and vote for us.
Yeah. You tell them, Chloe.
Because I'm tough and stuff.
You are. I've seen that face scraper you use. That's fucking scary.
Does good work, man. Has a light and everything.
It does have a light. That's a TikTok reference, by the way, people.
No one likes a mo on a chick, so you got to get rid of it somehow. I'm over 30 now, so got to take care of the business.
I would like to have seen when you coloured in your brows. If you coloured in your mo, that would have been an interesting video.
Ah, next Halloween.
Do a twirl, a little.
Next Halloween, I'll grow it out.
That's terrifying.
I'll leave my brow dye on for like 20 minutes and see how dark they get. Just go full throttle, just let it all hang out.
We haven't talked about movies for like 5 minutes.
Oh no.
Shit, this is just like a regular conversation.
I love it in movies when they actually show a chick having a mustache and it's supposed to be like her being absolutely feral. When, all women have mustaches, just so people know. All women have mustaches. So when they show in a movie when a girl has a mustache and she's all like, "Ugh," like it's not true. It's not nice.
What's your favorite female mustache in a movie?
I'm pretty sure Melissa McCarthy has had a mustache.
Yeah,
And
she looks like Burt Reynolds.
oh yeah, I say that all the time.
I call her the
McCarthy,
Bandit.
Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
I'd
She
tell the
should do the
difference.
remake of Smokey and the Bandit.
I would watch it.
I know you would. She's
I
more
don't
of a
think they
Jackie-
should remake it.
She's more of a Jackie Gleason type. She's the
Oh
the
yeah,
Smokey.
yeah. They're
Down
not really
kick third.
remaking. They're not really remaking Smoking the Bandit, are they?
God, I hope not.
If they do, that's going to be like a really disappointing day.
That's fucked.
Yeah, let's not jinx
Yeah.
it. Let's not jinx it. Let's not.
No,
jinx it.
my motto for the last week has been shit's fucked. So you know, it plays right into that.
I usually say the other way around, but you know,
Well,
the
fuck you.
less the less appropriate
Oh.
way of saying that, the more Australian way of saying that.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah. I'm not going to say it on here.
Oh, I wish you would. You know I'll put it on TikTok. That's the problem.
I'll do it. I don't care. I just don't want to lose us viewers because I got a potty mouth. Next time.